I am one of the co-founders and chief operating officer for the Stafford Boxing Club Incorporated, our nonprofit organization, which is a yearly mentoring program for at-risk youth in the community.
So we will be able to teach financial literacy, communication, discipline, decision making, as well as campaigning for a premium education.
These are the foundation for the Stafford Boxing Club, these 20 mentees in our program here at Panola Way Elementary School. 20 years from now, Stafford Boxing mentees will be known across the world.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Great start of a great brand new week. Nothing but positivity in the air. Whatever it is you're doing, continue doing it. Do not stop. Don't let the naysayers stop you from doing it. It doesn't even matter who you hear it from, because you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you.
And don't get lost in the sauce.
No, please don't get lost in the sauce,
Don't get
because
lost
my
in the
gosh,
sauce.
because that sauce has so many different types of ingredients, and they're not even the right type of ingredients. You might be trying to make a sweet potato pie, and someone might put something spicy up in there. I don't know what's going on.
Real.
But thank you for being here today on the Stafford Show. I am Lady Stafford. I am your host.
I'm Big Stafford. Get what I'm saying? I'm co-host. No, I'm talking about, man.
Well, we have a lot going on, and today we are going to be talking about something that Stafford is doing. The Lord had told him it's been about a month now, maybe 3 weeks, a little bit over 3 weeks since he told you about this journey that he's on, the vision,
that
the
we
journey
on. We on
that we
together.
are. Yeah, my gosh, that we are both on. We never expected this to happen, but it is what it is. So Stafford, please let everybody know what you have going on.
Man. Well, this weekend, I was invited to the DeKalb GOP, and when I got there, I saw this sign on the table, and it really hit hard for me. It was something that I'm going to frame this, because looking at my journey in life from where I started from as an adolescent, as a child, I mean, I'm a type of individual that received 2 broken legs from my mother's husband, my sister's father, when I was like 2 years old. He broke both of my legs because my mother didn't have a child by him first. My mother had a child by my father. So just looking at this is just totally humbling, and it's going to be a tough journey. I have decided to run for Georgia State Senate District 43 in DeKalb County. Never thought that I would even be talking about a candidacy to run for a public office. This is something that was birthed in me by God about 3 weeks ago. Actually, it came after I was, in my biblical studies. And like I say, I never wanted to be in politics. I never had no desire to be in politics. That's not something that I ever even thought about doing. But God has birthed this vision in me. And since then, I have been on an amazing journey. The start of it has been remarkable. Shout out to the DeKalb GOP, Chairwoman Marcy McCarthy, and everyone that's in that organization. I greatly appreciate you guys. You guys have totally embraced Sheila and I. You made us feel like family. And the thing about this situation is the DeKalb County, the GOP, the Republicans didn't come to me. I went to them, and I told them what my ambition was, and they have done nothing but embrace me. So I know that this is going to be a huge challenge, and I say that because I'm running in a district where 80% of the registered voters are African Americans. And historically, they have a track record of voting for Democrats. So I'm not running as a Democrat, I'm running as a Republican. And I know that in the Black community, the letter R in Republican stands for racist. But I'm here today as a Black man, a Republican, that the letter R in Republican stands for relationships, relationships between whites, Blacks, Asian Americans, Hispanics, and so forth. And one of the things that I, really appreciate about this party is that the respect and the love that we receive from people who are white, Black, Hispanic has been nothing but A1. And I had an opportunity, me and Sheila, we went to um, the Black Republican Council meeting and met some great people in that organization as well. So I know that there's going to be a challenge. Senator Tanya Anderson is the current senator for District 43. And as a matter of fact, I had an opportunity to meet her about 2 weeks ago?
No, it's been longer than that. Because it's been longer than that. So it had to have at least been a month ago.
No.
It had to have been over 3
weeks. Baby, if I got the vision about 3 weeks ago.
Well, this is going on the 4th week now. So
okay, so let's say 3.5 weeks ago, I met Senator Tanya Anderson, and it was nothing but divine intervention. So when me and Sheila was preparing for our event with our kids to go to Georgia State University homecoming game, we had some issues with renting a vehicle. And when we got to the place, the rental car place said that they no longer had a 15-passenger van. So they said that to accommodate us, they would give us 2 vehicles, vans. And so it was a great experience. I forgot the name of the rental car place, but God showed out. But anyway, I told Sheila to go ahead and go to Stonecrest Mall to get her eyebrows arched. And so I told her that I was going to make a couple of errands real quick. And so I got to Stonecrest Mall about maybe an hour later. And so this Black woman was in the chair. And so the owner was, doing her eyelashes or whatever. And she got up, she walked out. She said, "Bye, Sheila." And I was like, "Baby, you know her?" And she was like, "No, I just met her here." So the owner told me that her and Senator Gloria Butler were on the same political platform. And so I was like, "Oh, really?" So I went outside. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me." And she turned around and I said, "I know who you are." I said, "I've been doing a lot of research about you. You Senator Tanya Anderson." And she said, "Yes." And I said, "You know what? I know this is God." And so I said, "I'm going to be running against you in the 43rd district of the Georgia State Senate." And then her and I began to talk about 45 minutes. The first 30 minutes, I say, 35 minutes, Sheila, was just me and her. Mm-hmm. And then Sheila came, and then we began to have conversations. But I explained to Senator Anderson that I would never disrespect her or talk bad about her or do anything that I think that it's inappropriate to disrespect a Black woman. I'm married to a Black woman, a queen at that. So I wouldn't, do what we see in politics where we slander people's name and assassinate their character just to try to get voters and so forth. And so in this district, I see there's a change. There needs to be a change. There's a lot of things that I think is working in my advantage that will give me an opportunity to win this election in 2024, in spite of it being predominantly African-American with a historical background of Democrats voting. So one of the things that I think that I have in my favor is that my investment in the community. I'm known in the community, particularly Lithonia, and District 43 in the Georgia State Senate consists of parts of DeKalb County, which is Lithonia, Stonecrest, and then Rockdale County, then Newton County. And so these counties are predominantly African Americans. And so I believe that, I represent the change, I represent the prayers and aspiration of our ancestors to stand up and be a voice for change. And oftentimes, change may not come in the way that you may think it would come. And so I have a lot of experience of getting legislative bills passed at the Georgia State Capitol. And I'm not a politician, nor am I a lobbyist. And I have to support some congressional accolades to support my character and our organization, the Stafford Boxing Club Mentoring Program, and how impactful we have been in this district, in this community. And so I know that I'm gonna have a challenge ahead. Anytime you doing something different, you're gonna be attacked and so forth. But I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared for it because my journey has prepared me for this opportunity. And also it'll give the kids in our organization to see me under extreme attacks and how I use the spiritual gloves. I use the spiritual gloves in my mind and in my spirit to fight this spiritual warfare. And I want to demonstrate to them how to conduct yourself as a professional, how to conduct yourself as a Black man. I think it's very important that our community see a strong Black man married to a Black woman with a real marriage. This month, Sheila and I be celebrating 15 years of marriage. I don't want to take too much of time talking about my candidacy, but I wanted to have an opportunity to just kind of, introduce to everybody that I will be running for the Georgia State Senate District 43 senator position at the Georgia State Capitol. And I had an opportunity to meet with Lee May, the former CEO and commissioner of DeKalb County. My wife and I, we both sat with him at his church, and I am so grateful for the opportunity that he allowed us to meet with him in his conference room at his church. And it was a great meeting. He gave me some great advice, etc. But he was also real about it. But the most important thing that I really appreciate about Lee was that he prayed for Sheila and I. And that meant a lot to me. So as we walked out of his church, we walked out being covered in prayer for this journey that Sheila and I is going to embark on. And a lot of times when people run for political positions, it's one person. But in my situation, it's me and my wife. We running as a team. And so any political seat is not the candidates. It's always the people in the community. And I hope that the people in District 43 will vote for me because my campaign slogan, if anyone can, Stafford can. And I appreciate that slogan. It came from a lady that we met at the DeKalb County GOP, and her name is Alicia Adams. And we had a great encounter, and I appreciate her being a true woman of God. And see, the thing about me is that I walk in the love of God. And by me walking into the love of God, I don't see color. Now, I am a realist. I live in a reality world and I see the things around me. But by me walking in the love of God, it allows me to overlook things and continue to move forward and walk by faith. And so I'm just so thankful to God for the opportunity to even talk about or even say about running for senator. It just is blowing my mind. Like I never even thought that. I don't know. It's a humbling experience. I'm a foster kid child. I grew up in boys' home, group homes. My father, he was a heroin addict. He was murdered June the 6th. I was born July the 6th. I've been in so many situations, unbelievable. And one day I will write a book because I've been encouraged by so many people to write a book. But me, I think everything is about God's perfect timing. And so I'm going to give it over to Lady Stafford and allow her to share some things with us and continue to have dialogue and engagement about this golden opportunity.
So when you were talking, and I brought this up before with the demographic area and the demographic of people, my concern is people getting out of the box, or at least thinking outside of the box. Like you just said something. You said sometimes that person, it's just like Jesus, when Jesus came, right? Everybody was thinking he was supposed to be like, have all this expensive, like an expensive robe on, and he was coming the way that they thought that he was coming, but he came as a servant. And through Mother Mary, who was a virgin, and then his father Joseph was a carpenter, and he used to work with his dad. Well, he used to work with his dad. Now God is his father, is our father, but Joseph is his dad. And when you said that, it took me to when I was reading in my word. But I just think that sometimes in our community, we expect somebody to come in a certain type of way, do it the way we think that it should be done, because the way we think it should be done, that is the correct way. That is the only way. That is the way that it has worked for us for so long. So, and I'm going to have a question to come. My thing is that we need to start doing some research. We need to start asking questions. We need the questions, and the research is the most important thing. And to come to one of the DeKalb County GOP meetings that we have. It's a nice breakfast. This is like one of the first times that we have been somewhere together where everybody, the men, but especially, sorry, the women that have just really loved on me. They, like you said earlier today, they've been speaking life into me, and I love it. With what I just said, right? How are you going to start chipping away at those barriers for those who just think that because you're running for Republican, how dare you? And they think that you're going to be a puppet. How can you reach out to the people and just to let them know, look, it's not what you think it is?
That's a phenomenal question, and I'm so grateful to have an opportunity to answer that. I've been in the community, just talking at different locations, the LA Fitness, people I know from Walmart, just in the streets. Like I'm a hood guy.
The projects, the hood.
I'm just a hood guy. I'm sorry, but however, I'm diverse. I can be in the hood, but I also can go into corporate setting, and I can go into the pulpit. And so me going into these small town hall meetings in our district will allow me the opportunity to engage with people who may have this mindset of Republicans being a racist, political group, and may be thinking that I'm being used per se like a Herschel Walker to, push their agenda. And like I said before, the Republican Party never came to me. I went to them. And I, expressed my ambition to run in a predominantly African American district to win a political seat at the Georgia State Senate. And I shared with them my vision, but most importantly, Sheila, I think, my mindset is a servant leader. So what I would like to do is listen to what the constituents in this district have to say. That way, it'll give me an understanding of what the needs are and what the wants are. And so me coming away with that information, I'm able to collectively and strategically lay out a plan, a vision to address those needs in the community.
Gotcha. I have another question too. Now, you have had um, a lady or some ladies come on your social media platform and they did not come respectfully, they came disrespectfully, which I totally disagree, whether it's on your social media platform or really anybody's social media platform, no matter what color, religion, or what you think about. I have a question, don't worry. My issue that I have with some, let me repeat this, SOME, some, not all, some Black women, because they will come on a Black man's social media platform, but she won't go on a white man's social media platform and show out and be disrespectful and just say things out of character and say things because they are emotional. My question to you, I know that you said by going to the town hall meetings and, of course, engaging with the community and listening and hearing their needs and their wants, and to walk away with that and have a plan, a vision, a plan to be able to meet their wants and their needs. But with the Black women who can be very disrespectful to a Black man for no reason and have that I am independent type of mentality, we don't need the Black man. How are you going to engage in conversation with these women and at least have them to have an understanding of who you are, what you want to do, and why you are even running for, we say conservative, but Republican. How are you going to do that?
Baby, you know what? I ain't gonna lie. You, boy, hey, man, for real, man. I'm talking
because
about
they need to be answered because they're out there.
Well, it's a great question. Number one is, in my humble opinion, not all, but there are a high percentage of just angry Black women, and I think they have the mindset of anytime that there's an alpha Black man to stand up and say things, that they want to come and they want to say disrespectful things and so forth and so forth. But how I engage with them is listening to them, but then I respond to them in a very positive way, right? One thing about me is that I'm very patient and I'm very consistent. Let me give you an example. So it was this woman on the Facebook named
Don't say her name.
I can't say her name.
No, don't say her name. We're not going to start anything. Right.
Well, anyway, this woman, this Black woman, she jumps on my Facebook page and she begins to attack me. She says that, you will never get my vote. You da 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 da. And I just listened to her and I was like, okay, bet. And so, I said, I respect that. But then I came back to her and I was like, I explained to her reasons why this district should elect the first African-American Senate at the Georgia State Capitol. Now, let me move the African-American and the first and all that to the side, but let me just say why you should vote for a Black Republican for this elected seat. And I, shared my points with her, but that wasn't good enough. Then she said that I abandoned New Birth and all this other type stuff. So then I showed her a picture with me and Bishop Eddie L. Long. the former pastor of Newburgh Missionary Baptist Church. God bless his soul. That wasn't good enough. She still come back and attack me. I don't trust you. Da 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 da. I said, well, why don't you ask Eric Long, Bishop Long's son, about me? He can tell you, because he's seen me go through some extreme situations at Newburgh where I shouldn't say
No,
that.
don't say it. No, don't.
But anyway, the late Maya Angelou wrote a poem, and it's called Still I Rise. And when the dust settled in that situation at Newburgh, still I rise. Everyone counted me out. Everyone threw dirt on me. But in order for a seed to grow, it got to have dirt. However, I walk in the love of God. I have my focus on God. But to answer your question is, these type of situation is preparing me to have engagement with Black women who feel the need to be disrespectful. Some may be bitter because of them being single and a bunch of kids, or things didn't work out, or something happened in their personal life where their father, a Black man, may have not met their expectations, so they want to attack. Or it may be because the system has mentally equipped them to think that you don't need a man, etc. A lot of Black women have become materialistic, and so the money, the career, the houses, and all that stuff have replaced a strong Black man. So my rebuttal to them is like, won't you get to know me? Won't you ask people in the community about me? Like my wife say, do some research. And from a bipartisan recognition, I've received 2 congressional proclamation about my character and my leadership in this district by someone who's not a Republican. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
That's a fact. And on the 19th of November this month, we are receiving a congressional award for our community work in the Black community in this district. So the thing that I think that these Black women should look at is like, if I'm a conservative, a Black Republican, and I'm getting recognition by someone who's a Democrat and who has a huge voice in this district, it must be something about him. Because most of the time when a Black man is running for any type of political seat as a Republican, the Black community say he's an Uncle Tom, he's a cornball, he's a coon. And let me make this clear. I am not the Honorable Judge Clarence Thomas. I am not Congressman Tim Scott. I am not Colin Powell. I am not Herman Cain. I'm not, God bless his soul, I'm not Dr. Ben Carson. I'm not Herschel Walker. I'm Furquan Stafford. I'm me. I'm different. And the unique thing about my situation is 85% of the population in District 43 is African American. So my heart, my passion, my concern is for the Black community. I just so happen to be affiliated with a different political party because of their values. They line up with my belief, my core values. And let me be clear. Let me say this. Just because I'm a Republican, that I'm not going to face opposition from white men and women in this political party. That's just not going, I'm in tune with reality. And I'm also here to say that I, as a Black conservative, I served in Kasim Reed political campaign when he was first running for mayor for the city of Atlanta. I served, both of us served in Congressman Hank Johnson when he was first running for a political office. I participated in the Rainbow Push Coalition, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of that movement at that particular time. I had some grooming from some great Black men. I'm talking about, man, shout out to Janice Mathis, Tina Jones, Joe Beasley. I really appreciate you guys. I really, really, really do. The NAACP, Dr. R.L. White, the former president, Atlanta chapter. So, I mean, it's not like I do not have any involvement in Black organizations that may be connected to the Democrat Party or people who are Democrats and just happen to be African Americans. But at the same time, I've also, experienced certain things with white people who are true Republicans. And my experience with that is, God can use anyone to bless you. If you stuck in one mindset, you're going to miss out on a lot in life. And to be honest, I had some white folks really come through for me in some really tough times in my life. RCW.
Oh yeah.
Attorney
Jonathan.
Attorney Jonathan Hilbert. My boy JT. You know what I'm saying? I can remember years ago, I was living out in Powder Springs, and I was going through a relationship with this woman, and it was tough from a spiritual and mental aspect. And so I can remember like that spirit of death, suicidal, was just trying to get me to take my life. And I can remember the Holy Spirit, like I was in my word strong. And I literally stood on the Bible and just praying out to God. And I can hear his voice saying, hey, you need to get out this house and run to the nearest church and ask for prayer. And I didn't remember that there was a church on the corner, and it was about a 2.5 mile jog. I mean, I was just jogging. I just bust out the door. I didn't even close the door. I just ran. And I came to this church on the corner. It was Legacy. It was a white man. At the time, I didn't know he was the pastor, but he was putting some letters on the signing board. And I told him, I said, sir, I just need some prayer. I just need some prayer. And so, man, we prayed. He told me, he said, hey, listen, won't you come to service, etc. I said, okay, I will. But when I left from being prayed for at that particular time, it gave me hope. It gave me strength to just deal with what I was dealing with at the time. And when I came to service, I was the only Black person in that service. And to be honest with you, and this is no lie, me and the pastor became so cool that he allowed me his pastor study to do research. Pastor Ben Bond, man, I love you, man. Him and his wife. Man, I didn't have some good folks, man. I'm telling you, that were white that really came through. And then I also went to an all-white college in McCook, Nebraska. So I was coming from College Park, a Black community. I was coming from Gabby Road, Old National. So my mindset was just street and the city. And that experience in a small town in Nebraska with 8,000 white folks changed my life. It gave me the opportunity, it gave me the experience to learn how to talk to white people. Because at that point, I didn't know how to talk to white folks. Man, I was hood. I was like, hey, shouty, we. You see what I'm saying? Like, man, hold up. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was just programmed to be talking that way. But when I got around them and that exposure, it gave me an experience that has lasted to today. And it has elevated me. It has allowed me to go into different types of groups that I normally wouldn't be able to go in because I wouldn't know how to conduct myself. And so I'm grateful for that experience. But, going back to, Pastor Ben Bond, man, it was people at the church left because me and that man became super tight, man. I'm talking about super tight. They left the church because me and him, and he was like, man, I'm not fit to leave. He said, no, he told me, say, I'm not fit to bandage you like that, because I see God in you. And if they left, that means that the Spirit of God wasn't really in their heart. And in the process, man, I met my partner named Joe Talley, man. And I love that boy, man. I'm serious, man. I mean that, man. That's my brother from another mother. But anyway, going back to what you were saying about dealing with, Black women who feel the need to just be disrespectful towards Black men of power, like myself, respectfully, I embrace that. Man, I look forward to having engagements with you. And I hope that after we finish having dialogue, that you will walk away feeling encouraged that, you know what, this Black man brings hope to our community, to our boys and young girls who need a Black male role model to look up to. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but what I am saying that I have been a man of character in the community for many, many, many years. Like my partner Trap, Dr. Travis Barber, he would tell you, I have a heart of gold. I love to serve people. I love to help people. And that's just who I am. And this opportunity gives me a different platform to be able to serve my community in a way that I just don't think that Senator Tanya Anderson has been able to do that respectfully. And one of the things that my mentor told me, Melvin Everson, was that when Nathan Deal won the Georgia nomination to become governor, no one thought that he would ever win, but he laid out the facts. That's all he did was lay out the facts. And so I plan to do the same thing. I'm not going to attack this Black woman. I'm going to lay out my vision. I'm going to lay out the facts, and I'm going to allow the people to make the choice. But at the end of the day, I want people to be open-minded. I don't want you to be like, well, historically, I've been a Democrat. I'm a vote Democrat, but you can be a Democrat and still voting for the same person, but not getting no results or no improvement. And I will say this here. Me being on this side gives me the opportunity to go to the Republican side and say, hey, man, listen, it was the Black community that voted me into this seat. And so it's important for me to be a man of my word. I'm not the type of person that say something for the sake of votes and then get into that position and not come through. My word is my bond.
That's why that's exactly one of the reasons too. You asked a question. Did you ask why? Or you can't believe that God chose you?
Yeah, I couldn't believe.
Okay, well, that's one of the reasons, because if you think about it, a lot of times those who are Black that run for office, they say and they act and say the right things
during
their campaign,
during election time.
And then when they get elected, then they come in and they totally forget. And that's something that I want to say because I don't want to forget. That's why you've been chosen, because there are certain things that you will say that nobody else will say. And this is not to put anybody down. But the majority, no, I'm not going to say the majority, some, let me say again, SOME, because sometimes when we talk, people start getting emotional and they don't hear the words that you're saying. Some people won't say things that you will say. Like when you said, when we went to the DCAP GOP, what the R stands for in the Black community, I'm going to post that video because they were shocked. Like you heard people in there saying, oh, and then someone says, we have to change that. And it's just, and it takes me back, like even with Moses. Moses, well, this is not you, because Moses would doubt himself. And then where he started off with, and then the daughter found him in the river, and then he grew up with the luxuries and anything he wanted. And then all of a sudden it pricked his heart because of how the Jewish people were being treated. And then he ended up killing one of the guards, and then he had to flee. And during that time that he had to flee, that's when God was shaping him and talking to him and molding him and just putting his word into him to be that leader, to lead them out of Egypt. So if you go back to those stories, and probably stories in a book, if you don't read the Bible, that David, was it Elijah that went to David's house and asked, we were listening to it, how many kids do you have? Because he said that the king is in this household. And the father called all of his sons, but he had forgot about David, because David was out there attending to the sheep. So he wasn't like his other brothers because of the way that he looked, because he was outside. He was probably a little bit dirty. And he had the cane or whatever he had to have, and he wasn't dressed all nice and had the nice rings on and the chain. I'm just being sarcastic, and the glasses on. His hair might not have been combed and looking good. So people were just passing over him. And he said, this is him. So if you go back and you read your word and you study your word, or even some books that you may read, if you don't read the Bible, that there are stories of people who you would not even think, oh my gosh, they picked him, they picked her, I can't believe it. But don't count that person out, because that person is going to say what the Holy Spirit is telling them to say, and being obedient to God. Go here, go there, say this.
And I will say this. When I got this vision, man, so many amazing things. I mean, it's been crazy. And this past weekend, I had an opportunity to speak at the DeKalb GOP. And I had an opportunity, and that's where
I didn't get the whole video, but I'm gonna post
and that's
some
where
of that video.
And this is where I got this sign from, and I looked at it and it said, reserved for Furquan Stafford, Georgia State Senator candidate, District 43. Vote DeKalb Red, DeKalb County Republican Party. I saw this on the table. I was like, man, Lord, you just told me this like 3 weeks ago, almost 30 days ago, and now I'm doing this, and I'm meeting these people, and stuff just happening. Like, so if God gives you a vision, he will provide provision. I am a strong believer in that. I mean, that's just how I live my life. I'm gonna be honest with you, because everything, it seems like every task that God has for me is a trailblazing task. And so this journey that I've been on with CP Plasma, sometimes it just like this. God said, do it. I did it. Do. And like my wife was saying, in the word of God, Abraham prospered because he listened and obeyed God. And I promise you, like, the enemy was coming to me in my mind, said, boy, you better not say that in front of these white folk, boy. If you say this, them white folk, boy, they gonna
But they need to know. So but apparently they didn't know. So you can bring some things to.
Well, I think they knew. I think that it was just a shock for a black man.
No, I think the lady that was next to me, because let's be honest. I know that we are around some very educated people. And I also know not only are they educated, they do have some type of common sense.
That's true.
And I do know that they also have some wisdom and knowledge, because whatever they're doing, they've been doing for a very long time. That's so I'm not trying to be but the lady next to me, I'm telling you, she really did not think that. Now, I'm not
Well,
saying she doesn't watch the news.
You know what?
I know I'm
You
not
know
saying
what,
that she
Sheila?
doesn't watch the news.
You're
But
probably right.
and I think some
I
of
think
them,
it's 50-50.
yeah,
I think it's
50-50. I do. But let me just say this though, real quick. Before you come attacking anybody, whether it be Stafford, me, or anybody who's doing something extraordinary that you may not agree with, especially how, because God's ways are not our ways. Remember that.
Oh, mercy.
But what I want you to ask yourself is, before you come attacking, what are you doing in the community? What family or families, and you don't have to always post anything because you might not have social media. What are you doing for a family? What are you doing for families? What are you doing when you see these young girls, whether in the mall or out walking around? Do you take the time out to talk to them, to sow a positive seed into them? Or what about the young boys? The young boys and the young girls? Are you sowing a positive seed into them to let them know that they are somebody? Do you say you are loved? So what are you doing? Are you feeding families? Are you helping anybody out? Are you going to the schools? Are you serving? Or do you just go to church on Wednesdays and Sundays and praise the Lord and get all holified and sanctified, but then once you leave that parking lot, it's just all that gets erased? So before you come attacking anybody, look in the mirror. I look in the mirror all the time. What did I do wrong? Was I part of the problem? Did I speak to that young lady wrong because I went into the business? But she had an attitude, so I had to check her real quick and had to say a few curse words. What did you do? Did you do what Jesus would do?
I'm gonna tell you like this.
Do you check yourself? No, seriously, I want to know. Do you all check yourself?
I'm gonna tell you like this.
Check yourself before you come. And if you want to know something, like my husband said, you can always look at his wife, which is me. You can go on my social media platform and see what I have going on. If you would like to have a discussion, I would love to have a discussion, but I don't do that back and forth. I don't do all that type of cursing. I don't try to prove I'm right and you're wrong. The only thing we do is ask questions and agree to disagree, but at least have an understanding of the why, what, where, and how.
Ooh-wee.
And I had to say that.
Man.
Because we're not all that, women. We're not all that.
I forgot what I was going to say.
It's God. There's a difference between being conceited and having confidence. We get confidence from God. It's called God confidence. But that does not give us the right to mistreat each other and talk to anybody the way that you want to talk to them. Because we both know, let's just keep it real. Let me fix my hair. I know my eyes are a little. Are you going to go to somebody else with that same type of attitude and that same type of?
So what? Hold up. Check this out.
I'm just asking a question.
Hold up. So when you say type of people, be specific. Don't.
Oh, white people,
okay.
Asian Americans,
right.
Hispanics.
Okay.
Do you all get up in their face
with that
same type of attitude?
Okay.
Do you all come on their social media page and be disrespectful like that? I would like to know.
I don't. Hey, baby, hold up. Wait a minute.
The black women lynch the black men.
Oh yeah. Nah. Speaking of that, say what you said earlier today when we was driving to the studio.
Oh, that the white people don't have to lynch black people anymore because black people lynch each other. Because we do. And
hold on, wait a minute.
Speaking about
let us say it again.
And Republican for races, there aren't some of us black people racist against each other. Now, you all are going to get mad, but I'm just bringing it to the forefront. See, I'm not emotional. I'm bringing facts because I see it and I hear it. We're both out there. I see it all the time.
Hey, we out in these streets now. Let's be clear. If you go into the community, say, man, Stafford, every time I go into a place, people say, Stafford, where your wife at? Because we always together. We do everything. I'm privileged to be one of many people, men in the world, to be able to build something from ground zero with his wife. It's not like she doing her thing and I'm doing my thing, and then we trying to, come together. Like we came into this marriage with a wood nickel. Oh mercy. We came in this with a wood nickel, and together it's been a slow but steady building foundation. Like it took us about 15 years to build our foundation.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it took, but now it's I mean, I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
But don't get upset, everybody, with what I just said. Just listen to what I said, rewind it, listen to it again.
I told y'all
really
it's not going to be me, it's going to be us.
And really sit back and really think about everything that we said. Don't take it personal, because you can't take it personal, because some of the things that I said, it still goes for us too, because we're not perfect.
Oh, baby, let me tell you before I forget. So
yeah, because it's almost about that time.
So, in other words, voting for me, you have a voice, a representation on the Republican side in the state of Georgia. Now, from a federal standpoint, there was the electoral vote
yes.
was Democrat. So they said that the state of Georgia is blue, but Georgia is like a swing state. But that's on a federal level. I'm talking about on the state level. On the state level, the state of Georgia is conservative. The governor is Republican. The House is Republican. The Senate is Republican. So the Democrats, they have to, come up with a legislative bill, get a group of, Democrats, either House or Senate, to, vote. Then it has to go through the pipeline. At the end of the day, the Republicans got to sign off on it. Whereas me, I'm already at the table, respectfully. And I got respect at the Georgia State Capitol. So I can go to them and say, hey, listen, this is what this community need. I want to put this bill. How can we get resources to this district? This is predominantly African American. So me talking about uplifting the Black community is not going to be an out of bound thing. Whereas a lot of times you have Black politicians who are running as conservative in a white community, and they keep bringing up black, and to that particular group of constituents, it may not sound good to them, but that's not the case in my situation. I'm representing Black people, period.
But they might bring something to the table.
However, I have a different vision. I have different morals. I have different ethics that I stand by. And my inspiration goes way back to when I was like in my, late 20s, mid 20s. And I had an opportunity to do research about Frederick Douglass. And when I learned about Frederick Douglass, a Republican, and during that time where he self-educated himself, and during that time, if a Black man or a Black woman was caught trying to learn how to read and write, that's a death sentence. You're getting hung. And then he created the first Black newspaper. And then just think about it. Like, so during that time, it was slavery. So Abraham Lincoln had this type of respect for a Black slave to come to him because his wisdom, his intellect was on such a high level that he went to him to get an understanding and run things by him to make decisions that will affect the entire country. That blew my mind. And I was like, from that point on, it inspired me to be a reader of books. I read a lot of books. I'm reading about 4 books right now. And that's because I want the knowledge. It was an old saying that I used to hear coming up, in the hood. They said, if you want to hide something from a Black man, put it in a book, because a Black man is not going to discipline himself to sit down and read and write. And I'm looking at during the times of slavery where people was willing to put their life on the line to learn how to read and write. And I'm looking in 2023 where it's such a difficult task to even get the kids to behave on the school bus to go to school. But then once they get to school, they are, distraction and so forth. They don't want to learn, so forth and so forth. So now the teachers and the parents are bumping heads because the child may not be, acting right, or it may be miscommunication between the two. It's just a lot going on. And so that's where I want to step in and provide leadership to bring about a common goal, a common interest in the community and the school district and local businesses. How can we impact this community to the point that we can be self-efficient? How can we impact our school system? How can we make sure that teachers are getting paid? Make sure that people who are in the DeKalb County School District getting paid, be it you are an executive level or you may be a janitor. How can we not, get to a point that every time I look on TV, I see the DeKalb County School District in the news for something that shouldn't be in the best interest of this particular school district? So when these type of things happen where, the employees not getting paid, then you have to look at the leadership. And then, so if the leadership is not, what's the purpose of the board of directors? I mean, the board of education, the superintendents and all this other type of stuff, because I know for a fact that the people who are in executive position at the DeKalb County School District, I know that they're getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
So that same level of respect need to be trickled all the way down to the janitor. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be no reason why there's an issue with payroll, period. And every time I turn around, it's something going on in the DeKalb County School District. So I say to myself, where is Senator Tanya Anderson? Like, this is her district. She should be going and meeting with these folks. I don't know if she is, but there should be some documentation that you're having conversations with these people, because your best interest is in the constituents, the family. So now you hear stories about people who not getting paid 4 weeks. Then next thing you know, by the time they get paid, they late on their rent. So then rent coming right behind it. So they're not able to get up out of this cycle. So it's a poverty system that they being entrapped in, and they trying to do their best to, serve the community through their job description, but they're not getting compensated for their efforts. And so that's the type of person I am. And I'm not even elected yet, but I'm talking about these issues because I'm watching and I'm seeing. And so having a voice, I have that type of courage, that type of leadership mindset to, hey man, bro, we need to come to the table. How can we fix this, that this is not going to happen? So me being elected into this Senate seat will give me the platform and the resources and the authority to bring about awareness that's going on so we can resolve this. And you know what? Us Black people, we got to learn how to work together, because for some reason, this jealousy and envy has become the number one ingredient for our mass destruction. We constantly hating on each other. Like my wife said, that we ain't got to worry about the white man lynching. We lynching each other. And that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. And so I want to thank you for tuning in to the Stafford Show. And I want you to remember, in 2024, vote Stafford for Senator District 43. And if anyone can,
Stafford can.
That's no cappuccino.
Vote
for
red.
Real. Vote red for real. DeKalb County. Shout out to Marcy McCarthy.
GOP.
For real. We coming.
DeKalb GOP.
For real. Stafford Boxing.
The
making of champions.